Hello everyone, my name is Sharita and thank you once again for tuning in to my College 101 series. This will be the second video in the College 101 series. Today we will be talking about how to choose a career. In the last video we talked about the importance of setting goals. Just a quick recap about that video. We talked about goals, how important they are. Basically, you need to set goals so that they can help you get from where you are to ultimately where you want to go. When you set goals, it helps you to stay focused, it helps you to stay motivated. It basically gives you a target to aim for, and it helps you to concentrate your energy, your efforts, as well as your time. And that's very important when you're in college and you get inundated by all kinds of things that are grabbing your attention. So if you want to check out that video, I will post a link to that and feel free to check it out. But today we will be talking about choosing a career. Alright, so I know if those of you who are thinking about going to college, you're probably like, I'm going to college, but I really don't know what I want to do. So hopefully this video will help you out in trying to decide what career might fit best for you. But before I start talking about that, I just want to say I talked about before how college is different, or the job market is different than when my parents went to college or when your parents went to college. Basically, back in the 60s and 70s, having a college degree was definitely something of importance. And not to say that it isn't of importance now, but having a college degree back then pretty much guaranteed you to a good paying job, kind of like a office job, a white collar job. So you were pretty much guaranteed. It didn't really matter what your major was. It didn't matter so much what kind of experience you had. All companies were interested in is if you had a college degree, and having that made you stand out, and employers wanted you because of that. However, today it is different. Having a college degree is still very important, but it's different because there are so many people now who are able to go to college due to student loans and things like that are helping more and more people go to college. So it's so many people out there that employers have a large amount of candidates to select from. So you have to stand above the rest, and I don't want you guys to think that just by having a college degree it's going to guarantee you your dream job, nor will it guarantee you your dream pay. I feel like a lot of people get out here and they're like, I have a college degree but I can't find a job. So hopefully with this video, it will help you choose a career that will ultimately be beneficial to you in your future. Okay, so first thing I'm going to talk about is what you should do to choose a career. They recommend that there's two different ways that you can choose a career. You can look at your interest, or you can look at your skills. And I know you might be saying, those two things sound kind of similar. What is the difference between my interest and my skills? So let's say for interest, you have an interest in kids, or you have an interest in animals, or you have an interest in art or music. Those are things that you are interested in. But say you are skillful in writing. Maybe you're skillful in problem solving. Maybe you're skillful in building stuff. Those things are your skills, and they are different from your interests. They don't necessarily have to be different from your interests, but they can be different from your interests. And I'll use myself as an example. I am interested in art. I'm also interested in basketball. However, I am not very skillful in either one of those things. So hopefully that gives you some clarification about the difference between interests and skills. So once you know what your interests are versus your skills, you can decide what type of job or what type of career falls in line with the things that I'm interested in or the things I'm skillful in. And you should kind of make a list so you can have an idea, what are my interests, what are my skills, and how can I apply that to a career. And if you're in high school, even if you're in middle school, you can be doing this now, and especially if you're in college. If you're in middle school, I would say more so not trying to find out a career, but just trying to find out what you are good at, trying to figure that out. In high school, you should kind of have a better idea of the things that you're good at, the things that you are interested in, to kind of help you navigate what possible career you might want to take. And if you're in college, they recommend that you should be doing this now and researching careers now. So you're probably like, okay, what do I need to do to research a career? Basically, all researching a career is finding out more information about it, finding out the educational requirements for it, finding out the skill set requirement for it, and finding out what the salary requirement is for it, as well as finding out, is this even going to be a good fit for me? And I'm going to be talking about how you can decide about and research about these different careers. So that's basically what researching is. It's just finding out more information about the careers, and I'm going to give you a way to do that. If you're in college now, they recommend that the best time to do this is the second semester of your freshman year. So if you are approaching upon that time, now is the time to start looking into some careers. However, if it's past that time, maybe you're a sophomore or junior in college, still get on it. Don't say I'm not going to do it or blow it off or whatever because you're like, I should have did this a long time ago. The sooner you find out this information, the better it would be for you, okay? So find out what your interests are, what your skills are, and then see what careers might fit into those type of categories. They also recommend that you should have a strong background in STEM courses, and basically STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, I know everybody isn't going to be skilled in all four of those areas, but I definitely recommend that most people should be skilled in math, because math is pretty much part of any job that you take in today's world. So definitely having a strong background in math would definitely be helpful for you, okay? Also, some other ways you can research some careers is by networking, talking to people. I will say this, once you've kind of decided what career you might be interested in, you should tell people about it. When people know that you're interested in something, they are more likely to take an interest in you and try and help you. And say if they find somebody who's interested in or who's working in the field that you're interested in, say maybe you wanted to be a plumber or you wanted to be a nurse, and they know somebody who is in that line of profession, they'll be more likely to put you in contact with that person. But if you never tell people what you're interested in, they won't be able to help you. Now, I feel like a good way to find out information about careers is through something that they call informational interviews. And informational interviews are basically when you do an interview with someone who is in a career that you feel like you're interested in. Now, you can write down a list of questions that you'll have for these people, and I'm also going to go over some sample questions to get you started off. But you should want, if you're in high school, you should want to practice this in front of an adult, maybe your parents or someone else that you trust, just so you can make sure your questions flow well and you know what you want to say, as well as to help eliminate any nervousness. So informational interview, you're just going to be interviewing someone who is in a career that you're interested in. And the first thing, one of the questions that I definitely recommend for the informational interview is find out what their job title is. So, and you want to be as specific as possible. So if you're interviewing someone and they're a teacher, you want to know, you just don't want to write down teacher. You want to write down, like, are they a 5th grade teacher? Are they a kindergarten teacher? You want to get as specific as possible. The more specific you get, it allows you to find out what areas you can go into. Is it a specialized area? Are they a special education teacher? Things like that. Another example is a doctor. What kind of doctor are they? Are they a chiropractor? Are they a dentist? Are they an eye doctor? Are they a OBGYN? Get as specific as possible. You just don't want to say that they're a doctor, because once again, it gives you more information about what you might be able to do in that particular area, okay? The next thing you should ask them about is their job description, which kind of goes along with the job title. Job description gives you information about what they do in their profession. You might think they do one thing and they'll tell you, yes, I do this, but I also do X, Y, and Z. And you might not have even known that you could be able to do that. So definitely ask them what their job description is. Someone who's a teacher, they might also be a coach, all kinds of things. So definitely ask the questions so you can get more information from them, okay? The other thing you need to ask them about is salary. Now, I know this can be kind of a tricky question to ask because you don't want to ask people, how much they make or whatever. So you want to make sure you phrase it carefully. I would suggest you probably word it like, someone in your chosen profession with the amount of years of experience that you have, what would be the average salary they would receive? So kind of phrase it generally so you're not directly asking them, well, how much do you make? So just watch your wording with that. So you want to ask them what they make. Also, when you ask them this, you want to take into consideration how long they've been working in that particular profession, because someone who's been in the job market for 15 years doing the same thing is probably going to be earning something different than someone who's first coming out of school. You also want to ask them, what is the entry-level salary versus advanced? Also ask them what the average salary is versus the median salary. These two things can be very different. You may also want to ask, does the salary vary based on the region? Now, some of these questions they may or may not know, but you can definitely ask that. Also ask them, does the salary vary based on education? Like, ask them, what do you have to do to cause your salary to increase? Do you have to take more classes? Does your salary increase based on your experience, or does your salary increase based on the number of years you've been working? So ask those questions. So you just don't want to get a number, say $50,000, and think, hey, that's what I'm going to be making, because that might not be the case. They may have been there 20 years and that's all they're making is $50,000, and maybe they started off making $35,000. So ask them so it can put things into perspective for you. Another thing you should ask them about is, what is the job outlook for this particular profession? What does the job market look? And this is important because you do not want to get into a job that is on a decline. You want to go somewhere where there's lots of new jobs, they're scrambling for people to come in, things like that. So you need to ask them, how do you see the job outlook for this particular profession? Also, you might want to ask them too, where do you see this profession in the next 5 years or the next 10 years? Or ask them, how has this profession changed in the past 5 years, the past 10 years? Because you might have one idea of what the profession is, and since it has changed and is going in a new direction, and you want to make sure it's still something that you want to do. So those are also questions that can be helpful for you. Something else you want to ask is definitely, what are the educational requirements? Like I said earlier, I feel like a lot of people think that just because they have a 4-year degree, they are entitled to this dream job, and that might not be the case. Ask what the educational requirements are. Maybe you need a 4-year degree. Maybe you only need a 2-year degree. Maybe you need a 4-year degree and you have to do an internship, or most companies are looking at years of experience or something like that. Ask all these questions. Maybe you need a master's degree for the position that they're in and you thought all you needed was a 4-year degree. Ask them about that. Know what the educational requirements are. Also, you might want to ask them, what do you have to maintain any educational requirements, or do you have to take training or recertification? How often is that? So you want to ask them these questions so you'll have a good idea of what you're getting into, because you don't want to go to a 4-year school and find out, oh, I only need an associate's degree to do this, and that's a 2-year school. So that's why it's important to ask these questions, as well as vice versa. Maybe you thought all you needed was a 4-year degree, and you need a 4-year degree and a master's degree. So that's another thing to ask about the educational requirements. Something else is, if it does require a college degree, what major is usually used, okay? Because that will be helpful for you when it comes to college and choosing your major. Also, you might find out that you don't necessarily have to major in something that you thought you did. And I'm going to use myself for an example. Many of you may or may not know, but I am an optometrist. I am an eye doctor, and I majored in biology. As most of you probably might think, most doctors probably have to major in biology, chemistry, some science. But that is not the case. I did not have to major in biology. I basically could have majored in anything that I wanted to. Now, I will say the requirements for me to get into graduate school or optometry school did require a lot of biology courses or a lot of science courses, but I did not have to major in biology as long as I met those requirements. And I wish I had known that, because looking back, I probably wouldn't have majored in biology. From a practical standpoint, I probably would have majored in business. If I was going strictly on my interest, I probably would have majored in English. But ask these things, because you might find out, hey, I don't have to major in this, or I can major in something that I really enjoy. And it makes the whole college experience that much more fun for you, or it makes learning a little bit easier if you're actually studying something that you're really interested in. Okay, so ask them what they might have to major in, and do you have to major in this in order to go into this profession? Okay, the other thing is, what are some related occupations that go along with this? And this is where you can find out what other careers I can go into. I know a lot of times we have this like one-track mindset. Like when we think about a nurse, a lot of times we think about the nurse that's in the hospital setting. We don't always think about a nurse that's in a school setting, or a nurse that's in a nursing home or assisted living facility. We don't always think about those types of nurses, but that might be an avenue that you can pursue. So ask them, what are some related occupations? What other things can I do with this particular skill set? What careers are related to this? What else can I use this degree for? So ask them about that. Okay. Other thing you want to ask them, are there any other sources of information? Where can I find out information about this particular profession? If you are in college right now, this is very helpful, because a lot of the professional organizations, they have student groups or student organizations. So getting in contact with those types of organizations can give you a lot of helpful information, as well as put you in contact with other people who are in the similar situations as you are. Okay, so ask them about that. So these are just some of the questions that you can ask on an informational interview. You can add as many questions as you want, but at least this gives you a starting point. Once you finish with the informational interview, then you want to ask yourself, am I still interested in this profession? And why or why not you may be. Okay, so hopefully that'll help you out with some researching careers, things like that. I am over my time limit. I told y'all I'm going to try and keep my videos no longer than 15 minutes, and I'm already run over. I will say that the choosing a career is probably going to be about another 2 videos, so don't think this is everything. This is just the beginning, talking about informational interviews. And hopefully this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you to everyone who's watching, and remember to subscribe to my channel, College 101. I will be posting videos every Tuesday. My name is Sharita. Thanks for tuning in, and until I see you again, you guys take care. All right.